Kapalabhathi Kriya. The number one practice for the health and well-being of the brain is Kapalabhathi. Kapala means the skull. It is not the skull that is meant. What is inside the skull, the brain, is meant. Bhati means shining, cleansing, burnishing. It makes the brain brilliant and shining. It's a very strong breathing process. You pump out like this with the full force of the lungs. Short, sharp, forceful pumpings, 1 stroke per second. When you pump out, the abdomen caves in along with the diaphragm. In Kapalabhathi, it is just not a flip-flap with the diaphragm. Not a flip-flap with the diaphragm. When the abdomen caves in, hold it as such for a fraction of a second and then release. In Kapalabhathi, pumping out is your job. You don't have to worry about inhalation. After each pumping out, some air is sucked in naturally. Kapalabhathi has 2-3 variations also. First variation is 4 pumpings through 1 nostril like this. Start with the left nostril. 4. Next 4 through the other nostril. Continuously it should be. These 4 pumpings continue about 100 pumpings totally. Then change over to a single nostril Kapalabhathi, twisting the face muscles without using hands like this. Do this 50 pumpings. In Kapalabhathi, one has to do 300 strokes non-stop. Don't think you can do 100 strokes, then take a gap, then continue with another 100. That way, it doesn't create the required fire. There are cases where these 300 has to be done in multiples also. Multiplication of 300s according to necessity, the demand of the situation, the diseases. when 300 has to be multiplied, after the first 300, take a gap. Then sometime later on, continue with the next 300. To avoid the boredom of doing 300 strokes non-stop, you can adopt this also. 4 pumpings, then the face twisted Kapalabhathi. First 100 Kapalabhathi you do normal. After 100, change over to this 4. Do that 100. It makes it 200. The next 50 you do face twisted. 50. That makes 250. The last 50 you come back to normal pumpings. And when about 10 or 20 left for 300, slow down. Or even after crossing 300, slow down, reduce the strength of pumpings, breathe in a little more air in between, leave some gap between the strokes and taper off to a stop, like this. In schools, usually the teachers use an X instead of showing this. Teacher uses X. There he can clearly manipulate the end like this. X.